Jo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Folge von Genshin Impact und heute machen wir weiter mit dem Archontenauftrag, der unbewegliche Gott und die ewige Utopie und der Sinn des sinnlosen Wartens. Ja, ich bin immer noch nicht fertig mit dem Auftrag. Ich habe jetzt jeden Tag dran weiter gepusht. Heute ist jetzt schon Tag 3 vom neuen Update und ich würde es langsam gerne fertig bekommen tatsächlich. Und ja, mal gucken, wie weit wir heute kommen.
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden, after all these years?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. We've had no time to prepare. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we urge you to reconsider.
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about. Let's go over and see.
You must also be here to try and convince Tejima to stay.
Was ist passiert?
Tejima has protected this place ever since he arrived here 30 years ago. Keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving quarrels between the villagers. He has put an enormous amount of work into looking after this place, and we all think the world of him. But now, all of a sudden, he says he plans to leave us. We can't help but wonder, was it something we did? We will gladly apologize if that's the case. All we want is for him to stay.
Ganz schön egoistisch von denen, ja? Warum der Wandel?
If you want my opinion, something to do with the Vision Hunt decree.
Oh, lol.
It's clear that Tejima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated his vision. After that, he became a completely different person. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very important to him. He went off on a walk, alone, circled the village a few times, and then out of the blue, he announced that he was going to leave and become a wanderer. Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is the right thing to do. But equally, it doesn't feel right to let him leave when he's in this state. He's a lost soul.
Seems like he's a well-respected guy around here.
Ich verstehe.
You must be Tejima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Wir standen halt direkt vor ihm, er hat alles gehört, so.
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason I would have to stay.
Du hast lange Zeit hier gelebt.
True, but that's not why I chose to stay here. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave in all that time? I don't have answers to those questions because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took my vision away, it's like a slice of my memory is gone. In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then, it's gone now. So I thought, what's to stop me from moving around instead? The emptiness inside me will be there either way.
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you rediscover the reason you chose to stay, you won't need to leave anymore, right? But if you can't remember anything, it's not gonna be easy. Oh, maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then it'll all come flooding back?
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe I saw him writing in a diary.
I keep a diary? If you say so. I honestly can't seem to remember.
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying at the time that you wanted to make a note of a few interesting things. Things which would prove very important at a later date.
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to find his diary. It must be around here somewhere. Let's take a look.
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary. We should head back to the village to inform the others of Tejima's situation.
Straight up.
Like Tejima's diary, all right?
Das
Let's
war
see
einfach.
what we have here. Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dried braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before finding out that Bamboo was the name of his pet crab. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back, so I just found somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away into the distance. Seems like your average diary of daily village life. Huh? Wait, there's more! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The Omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is still my most treasured possession. Now that's the kind of info we're looking for. Time to pay a visit to the shrine.
Oops.
So this is the Omamori Tejima wrote about. Interesting. Looking at the color and the design, Paimon would have thought it belonged to a child.
Das darfst du 2021 nicht
He
sagen.
had this with him all the time. There's a chance some of his elemental energy remained on it. Do you think that it might come in handy?
Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay.
Here we are! This seems to be somewhere that Tejima visited a lot. The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima buried something precious here. Something that kept him in the village all these years? Must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around for 30 years. Let's dig it up and take a look.
Wäre funny, wenn es ein göttliches Auge wäre. Ein zweites oder so.
It looks
Oh.
like a letter. The paper's gone yellow. Must have been written a really long time ago. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again?
Wenn wir in diesem Krieg getrennt werden, warte auf mich im Dorf Konda, wo es ein Zuhause für uns in Frieden geben muss. Dorf Konda, da sind wir gerade.
So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone. But he's been here for 30 years. Oh, guess they didn't show up in the end, huh? Well, let's go give Tejima his stuff back and take it from there.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamorian letter belonged to me too. But I have no memory of anything that's written in this diary. Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for 30 years. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when we were finally reunited. And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has flown by so quickly. 30 years feels like the blink of an eye. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Now that I think about it, when my vision was taken from me, it felt like I'd suddenly been hollowed out. Love, regret, everything I felt for her, it's all disappeared.
Macht dich das traurig?
No, not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face,
Woher weißt du, dass es
her
eine Frau
voice,
war?
the things we experienced together. I barely recall any of it. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been nothing but a hazy dream.
Wirst du also immer noch aufbrechen?
I think maybe not. If this is something I waited most of my life for, I suppose I should carry on waiting. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually, only to find I didn't remember so much as her name? Wouldn't that be upsetting for her? When I think about it like that, I do feel a slight tinge of sadness in my heart. How curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? It's just like that feeling of emptiness. The feeling that something is missing. Thank you both for helping me reconnect with my reason for staying here. I shall remain here and keep waiting for her.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, it makes Paimon really sad.
Es gibt wohl nichts Traurigeres, als den Grund der Trauer zu verlieren. I guess?
Seems it's just like Ayaka and Tomo were saying. If you lose your vision, you lose all your hopes and dreams too. That certainly explains the state Tejima was in earlier. At least we were able to help him, weren't we? Well, let's go find the next person. According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission.
Damn. Ja, krasse Story, muss man auf jeden Fall sagen. Oh, hier sind 2 Weltaufträge.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma, the ones actually enforcing the Vision Hunt Decree. But why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation.
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some goods to be pocketed by greedy samurai.
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Notvorräte, meinen Sie damit Nahrung?
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. He's the same as all the other samurai. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us to help someone like him? Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
Ich stehe literally direkt vor
I've
ihm.
never even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to.
Findet ihr auch, dass die Stimme von dem Synchronsprecher überhaupt nicht zu dem Charakter passt? Aber gut. Wir hörten, dass du dein göttliches Auge verloren hast.
That's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently, I'd even disappointed the Raiden Shogun. And that's why they confiscated my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt Decree. Why would you be unworthy of your vision?
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details. All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what they were. And it's not just that. I have this unsettling feeling, like someone owes me something.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provisions?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard times right now. To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders.
Oof.
Which is why I came here in the first place. I was chasing after them when I got held up by these two. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself. If there were any emergency provisions to be had, they would have found them.
Huh. He seems to be telling the truth. But we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and see what they have to say. We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone too far.
Warum sollten Verbrecher die Wahrheit sagen, die Leute ausrauben und selbst wenn, woher wissen wir, dass sie die Wahrheit sagen? Also ich meine, like what? Warum vertrauen wir jetzt Kriminellen? Also die könnten uns doch einfach irgendwas erzählen. Ist das ein Fuchs? Oh, sorry. Oh, Alter, Bro, chill, Bro. Und die finde ich wie? Oh, not much.
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot. I mean, besides that one house.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history. You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's teach them a lesson.
One with wind and cloud.
Easy.
Oh, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you.
Eher nicht. Das heißt, ihr habt Kurosawas Haus geplündert.
Kurosawa? Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew we shouldn't have hit that place.
So what did you see inside? Was it stuffed with food supplies?
Food supplies? You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange-looking box, hopefully with valuables inside. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, How about we make a deal? That little box for our freedom. What do you say?
You've got a deal. Now show us what's in the box.
Oh Mann.
Huh? What the? There's nothing in here but IOUs!
Yeah, a lot of them too. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi. We're talking tons of Mora here. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom of this. As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths don't cross again.
Yes, of course. So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Na, ich schätze mal, wir sind in Inazuma noch nicht wirklich willkommen. Eigentlich überhaupt nicht. Von dem her kann es uns eigentlich egal sein, ob hier Verbrecher rumlaufen. Aber das ist weird.
Time to go.
Vor allem, wenn wir sie ja reden hören, wie sie noch mehr Leute außer Kurosawa ausgeraubt haben. Und wir lassen sie einfach gehen. Naja. Ah, die Gemischtwarenhändlerin, die war relativ weit oben, ne? Hm. Naja, gut. Ja, wobei. Die war quasi auf der zweiten Ebene. Rich Town. Da, wo die Mittelschicht wohnt. Super rich.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Can I help you find something? Or perhaps there's something you want to inquire about?
Wegen dieser Schuldscheine.
Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it? Perhaps you're here to pay off his debts.
No.
Whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just here to learn where they all came from. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super expensive here?
Wahrscheinlich einfach nur so ein normaler Lebensmitteleinkäufer.
Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account.
Die Notvorräte hat er von seinem eigenen Geld bezahlt, weil er so ein nicer Typ ist. Uff. Und hat sich dafür verschuldet. Oh. Kurosawa, man. My boy.
However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford of the usual amount.
So that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the price is increased, couldn't he just buy less?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provisions at his own expense. And no one ever appreciated what he did. They just complained and held him accountable.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, nobody cares to think twice. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a severe backlash now. Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was truly a thankless deed. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself?
Leider erinnert er sich nicht mehr.
I see. That reminds me, it seems that his vision was recently confiscated. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so dear to him.
Sword? What sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses a very valuable blade. He's carried it for years now. I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father, that it was too precious to sell. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has its price, at least that's what I think. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even provide you with the answers you're looking for. Oh, but before you go, if you would kindly settle today's bill.
But we didn't buy anything!
Information is also a kind of commodity, wouldn't you agree? Don't
Wow.
worry, I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever discussed was explicitly confidential anyway. Oh, let me think. 2,000 mora should be a fair price.
Halsabschneiderin, ich spuck dir ins Gesicht, also gut.
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are coming from. Plus, we found out that Kurosawa has a priceless sword in his possession. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again, and see if he can remember anything.
Eigentlich hätte man eher denken müssen, dass die Leute in Liyue so drauf sind, weil Liyue mit Morax, der Gott des Geldes und bla, und die Stadt der Verträge und des Handels und pipapo, hätte man eigentlich denken müssen, dass die alle so geldgeil sind. Gut sind sie auch, aber nicht so geldgeil wie die in Inazuma, das ist ja Next Level. Das ist ja wirklich Next Level. Naja.
What are you doing here all by yourself? Where did those other two go?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often.
Das
Did
ist
you
keine
manage to
gute
track
Idee.
down the treasure hoarders? Everything I said was true, right?
Yes.
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation?
Weil du ein nicer Typ bist.
I really
Right?
don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so.
Dürfen wir es uns mal ansehen?
This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that either. It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So many memories gone. Forever. No matter how hard I try to remember, all I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword in my hands and said to me, "With this sword, you should."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
Da steht Tugend und Gerechtigkeit.
Virtue and justice?
Yes.
Somehow those two words seem
Kann
to
lesen wie ein
explain
Drittklässler.
everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. And look how things ended up. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people I was so desperately trying to help refused to understand me. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad. I I don't know what to do with myself.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword.
Ich verstehe die Auswahlmöglichkeiten nicht. Ein göttliches Auge zu verlieren ist kein Zuckerschlecken, aber ich kann ja nicht beides auswählen. Ein göttliches Auge zu verlieren. Das ist kein ganzer Satz.
Yeah. Seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Es war wahrscheinlich so gemeint, mit dem ein göttliches Auge zu verlieren. Und dann übernimmt der andere wieder den nächsten Satz so ungefähr, aber wie hätte dann der Satz mit und kein Zuckerschlecken aufhören oder anfangen sollen? Naja. Mit der nächsten Person, die ihr göttliches Auge verloren hat, machen wir nächstes Mal weiter. Bis dahin, danke euch fürs Einschalten. Würde mich selber ein Like, Kommentar, ein Abo von euch freuen. Ciao, ciao.